Our daily drawing exercise subject today is this small African djembe drum. But in this video, I do something which I've recommended before, but I've never actually done myself in one of these videos, and that's turning the paper so that curves, or any line for that matter, is in the easiest direction for us to do according to the hand we use and just what our natural drawing rhythm is. And so I decided there were so many ellipses in this that I would not tape down my paper, which I normally do so that I can get a sped up version of the drawing appearing from nowhere. But I've decided I'd go for accuracy with this, and so an accurate ellipse for the surface is, for the actual drumming surface, is quite important. So that lower line I've done is actually the black line, the rope line. So I have another line yet to do, which I've just realized, which is the line to represent the lower section of the lighter leather. So I put that in. And I haven't actually positioned that lowest line that I've done at all well. And that causes me problems for two ways. Firstly, you can see that left-hand line couldn't curve in fully enough with where I'd drawn the line. And then the fact that I hadn't centered it meant that I drew the line on the right-hand side down towards it at a wrong angle, because I was more focused on trying to meet the line I'd drawn than really ignoring that line and just drawing the lines that I needed to draw to accurately represent the shape. And so now we can see that the base doesn't sit on quite in the middle. And the fact that the handle is going to be on that side of the drum as well, even further visually pulls the effect of being out of balance towards the right-hand side even more. But I'm not aware of that at this point, or else I would have made a few more marks just to try and lessen the visual impact of this. So now there's another line of rope that sits beneath the pulled leather top. And now I have to position these ropes that hold it in place. And the important thing with these ropes is that they need to reflect the shape of the drum that they're pulled against. So that's going to be the challenge. To have enough straightness to represent the tautness of the ropes, because they're clearly pulled very hard, but then also to have enough curve in the right places to reflect the fact that they're curving around a curved surface pulled tight. And yet we need to draw them rather briskly as well. So here I go. And I realized at some point that these lines don't actually meet up at the same point with the knot. They actually come out on each side of the knot at the top. So here I go with this one. You are seeing this being drawn in real time. It took me under 10 minutes to draw. And there's a whole lot of extra lines down there, which I can't do anything about. And so as a drawing exercise, it doesn't matter, because I've learned I needed to take a little more care with my centering. And if I were drawing this again, that's exactly what I would do. I would work a bit harder at the centering and the symmetry. And while I would still indicate how far down I wanted this top section to go, I wouldn't have drawn that horizontal line as wide And I would have made sure that the center of the line was actually in the center of where I wanted it to be. So now I'm putting the handle on, and of course I'm trying to create just the effect, the visual effect of the braiding of the handle. I'm not trying in any way to represent the actual knotting in any detail. And then there's another tightening rope that comes down on the other side of the handle. So now we're left with the decoration that's been carved into the base of the drum. So I'm just having a good look at it. Now, of course, remember, these are curved surfaces moving away from eye level, so they become rounder, they become more curved the further down away from eye level they become. Or they become less curved the closer towards eye level they are, the higher up they are. So I want to reflect that in these curves because it is actually noticeable. And so this line I'm going to draw now is not parallel to the one above it. It's actually a flatter line, but not quite that flat. So now I just need to put these carvings in, which I'm very pleased are there because they'll draw some of the attention away from the rather messy line that defines the base of the drum. The great thing about all these different drawing subjects is that we get experience at firstly observing and then trying to draw different lines, different combinations of lines, creating different shapes, different forms, different effects. And because they are just daily exercises, we don't have to get worried or caught up with mistakes. We can just push on if there are lines that aren't in the right place because we'll still continue to learn through the practice of this exercise. Now, with this decoration, it's really important to get the effect of the distortion correct as the surface the carving is on curves away from us. So really that comes down to careful observation, observing how it's distorted and then reflecting that in our drawing. So really quite a different subject for me, and it was really nice turning the paper around. It was like being able to finally scratch an itch. And I think this is pretty much done. I'm annoyed that the base looks as though it's too much towards the left, but look, this is how it is. So there's not much more I can do about it. I'm not going to draw, I think, anymore. I'm not going to draw the Maltese lace underneath. That would be very time consuming to do. So I think this is it. I keep looking at those lines just there in the bottom left corner of the upper part of the drum that come out in too much of a square shape. I contemplate somehow doing some background lines or hatching or shading to disguise them. But then I remember, hey, this is a daily drawing exercise. It's a way of keeping in touch with my creative skills day by day. And it's not an artwork as such. I don't need to worry too much about imperfections. It's about the learning experience. So I think, no, look, I'll just leave them and take whatever I've learned from this exercise. But look, it's not an easy subject to draw. I keep saying sometimes the most simple objects are the most challenging because there is no detail to hide behind. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. So look, I hope you do give this a go. Not the easiest of subjects to draw, but it's certainly an interesting subject to draw, and it's an even more interesting object to play with. And you'll find this reference photo on my channel community page. But look, whatever you end up drawing and however you end up drawing it, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.